Welcome back, everyone. Time to do another comparison this time around between the newly released Google Pixel 5 and the somewhat older iPhone SE 2. Now, both these phones are kind of different because obviously the Pixel 5 is selling for $699. The iPhone SE 2 you can actually pick up in the used market or for a little bit cheaper, but they're in the brand new, they're $400. So I'll let you guys kind of figure out which one you prefer. But with the iPhone SE 2, what's really interesting is that it doesn't look like the newest iPhone, doesn't look like the crazy thing, but Apple took a different approach because they really wanted to make a budget device. And with the SE2, we're getting that 4.7-inch Retina IPS panel, and I think it's actually a pretty good panel. I should have mentioned this before. You can pick up both of these phones in the description below. I'll find the cheapest ones on Amazon and link them there so you get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now that that's out of the way, the panel itself is actually pretty decent, for a $399 phone. It's good, it's definitely not going to blow your socks off or anything. The Pixel 5 display is way better, but it's a good panel. It's pretty small in the hand, and that's something that a lot of people may actually like. With the Google Pixel 5, on the other hand, has a 6-inch OLED panel, and not only does it have, very little bezel on it, it has, the hole punch display, but it also has the 90 hertz capability too, which that is something that's really cool. And when you hold them both in the hand and put them side by side, you can see that yes, the Pixel 5 is a little bit bigger, but it's really not by much. Like, it's a little longer, but other than that, if you're trying to hold both in the hand, one doesn't feel exponentially bigger than the other one. The Pixel 5 is obviously bigger, but the SE2 is literally right there too. I don't really think there's a big difference between them, to be honest. So in terms of the front, the Pixel 5 definitely wins. You have USB Type-C on the bottom of the Pixel 5 and a lightning port on the bottom of the SE2. And on the back, you have a glass back on the iPhone SE2, but an aluminum back on the Pixel 5. Now, on that back on the Pixel 5, it's kind of like a cardboard. I don't know, it's not cardboard, but it feels a little weird, like a weird texture to it. Apparently, it's built out of aluminum, though. But the iPhone SE2 has that really nice glass back on it. I think this phone feels more premium than the Pixel 5. You also have a dual camera setup on the Pixel 5, but a single camera setup on the iPhone SE2. So that's another kind of minor thing to keep in mind. Again, not a deal breaker, but that is something to keep in mind at the end of the day. I personally feel like the iPhone SE2 is the better built phone, but I feel like the Pixel 5 looks like the better and more premium phone at the end of the day. So that's kind of something that I would kind of sum up the outside bodies of these. Now, software-wise, the Pixel 5 obviously is running Android, iPhone on iOS, and it's totally up to you which one you prefer. Longevity-wise, which one's going to last longer. The iPhone SE2 is probably going to last longer in terms of stock software support than the Pixel 5, but the Pixel 5 is still going to be lasting for a long time. Both these phones are going to be lasting for a long time. It's not like you're going to get the SE2 or the Pixel 5 and automatically have a better experience. That's not necessarily the case. You still have the custom ROM capability on the Pixel 5, so whenever a bunch of custom ROMs come out and a root comes out, you'll be able to go ahead and utilize that specific custom ROM capability and kind of prolong the life of this phone artificially, non-stock. Where in the iPhone SE2, we don't have that capability, but this phone is still going to be lasting for a while. So in terms of software, that pretty much covers it up. Now we'll go ahead and do a little bit of a speed test between them two to see which one is faster. The iPhone SE2 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip and 3 GB of RAM, where the Google Pixel 5 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G chipset and 8 gigs of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between these two. Okay, let's go and clear out all the apps in the background. And I don't know how those apps came up there, but the SE2, I had a ton of apps from my previous speed comparison. So let me go and clear all these out. Okay, all the apps are cleared out. Let's start loading some apps up. Let's do the phone calls, 3, 2, 1. They both are pretty close. Play Store, 3, 2, and the App Store is 3, 2, 1. And you can see the Play Store on the Google Pixel 5 opened up faster than the App Store on the iPhone SE2. Scrolling though, there's a lot of glitchiness going on with the Pixel 5. I'm not really too sure why that's happening. I thought it was going to be roughly about the same, but that is not the case. The iPhone SE2 definitely looks smoother scrolling speed-wise than the Google Pixel 5. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. We do camera, 3, 2, 1. I think they were going to be about the same. I don't really even know what this specific test does, but you can see they were about the same. Now I have a bunch of these third-party apps that we can go ahead and get into. So let's start loading them up. Let's do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5 was faster, followed by the SE2 shortly behind it. We can do Stack, 3, 2, 1. And you can see we had a little bit of a pop-up here, but we did get into the ad around the same time, but maybe the Pixel 5 was faster. I was kind of looking away for like a split second, but they both look pretty close if I'm being honest. Let's do Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And you can see the Google Pixel 5 was faster overall than the iPhone SE2, which is surprising. I was surprised. I thought the SE2 was going to be doing a lot better, but again, we're only like a couple apps in, and this isn't even like an end all be all. So, I mean, the Pixel 5 won that one. We can do tempo run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, I think I ran into an issue before earlier on my Pixel 5, but I think it's fixed, or maybe it was my S20, I don't remember, but they both look to be about the same right now. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but as you can see, they both were almost hand in hand. We had a little pop up here, but regardless, I think they were both pretty close at the end of the day. So, gameplay wise, it's going to be about the same. This is a pretty basic game. I don't think anything crazy is going to be found out here. Snapchat 3, 2, 1. Okay, Pixel 5, I guess, is faster. Netflix 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5 again is faster, followed by the iPhone SE2. We do Fruit Ninja 3, 2, 1. Now, this app gives me errors on my Pixel 5. I don't know why, but maybe it'll go through. Nope, it didn't. So again, another failed attempt, but I don't know what's going on with the Pixel 5 there. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And again, the Pixel 5 is faster, followed by the iPhone SE2 shortly after. And again, I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I was expecting the Pixel 5 to be doing, a little bit worse than the SE2, to be honest. But Quizlet 3, 2, 1. Again, Pixel 5 is faster. iPhone SE2 behind it. We can do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. We may have to download it on the iPhone SE2, but I think I already had it downloaded. Okay, so a little pop-up came up, so I don't have any control over that. And you can see the Pixel 5 is the faster one technically. The SE2 is still loading, and it may take a little bit longer. I honestly don't know. It may actually be quite a bit of time before the SE2 loads into it. So we now get into the different panels. So that's something that's actually kind of surprising to me. I wasn't expecting the SE2 to take this long, but I also wasn't expecting the Pixel 5 to, be that much faster. So that was something that's really interesting. I don't know what to make of it, but honestly, the comparison really threw me off because at the beginning with, I was always said and assumed that the Pixel 5, or more specifically the SE2, would be that much better of a performing device, because it has the same chipset as the latest iPhones, and the Pixel 5 was, having a cheaper Qualcomm Snapdragon chipset. It doesn't have the same one as like the S20 or anything. And I find that kind of weird because the Pixel 5 did a really good job today at, being compared to the iPhone SE2. So I'd probably tell you, speed-wise, you may get a faster performing phone from something like a Pixel 5 over something like a iPhone SE2, which is really surprising to me. Now, RAM management seems to be about the same too, which is surprising. But honestly, if I had to tell you, I think the iPhone SE2 is just a little bit slower than the Pixel 5 right now, which is very surprising. So in terms of that, that pretty much covers it up. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. Now on the back, like I stated before, single 12 megapixel camera on the iPhone SE2, but the Pixel 5, we have a 12.2 megapixel wide angle lens, then a 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Now, when it comes down to the user interfaces on both, you may see that they're kind of roughly the same. There's not one that's like exponentially better. I've been saying that a lot in this video, but I think personally, the iPhone SE2 has a pretty good camera, but it kind of seems to warm the colors out. And hopefully when I do a camera comparison, if I ever do one, you guys will kind of be able to see that. But the Pixel 5, I think, does a really good job at kind of brightening up the photos. So you may actually like that. You have portrait mode on both phones. You have, photo, all that stuff. You can do 4K at 60 on both phones as well. But I feel like you still have more options on a phone like the Pixel 5 in terms of, features and stuff than on the iPhone SE2. Now the SE2, like I said, you can do a lot of different things with it. You still have portrait mode on this phone as well, which is really cool. And like I said before, I think 99% of things you're going to do on a camera, you'll be perfectly fine on the SE2. You have a 7 megapixel front facing camera as well. You can do 1080p at 30 on that camera. And like I said, I think a lot of people are going to be totally okay with it. It's definitely not the best camera of this year, but for a phone that costs $399, it's not a bad price to pay for this phone. It does a lot for its specific capability and its, price range. And I think, maybe it could get a little better. I wish it had an ultra wide sensor or something. But if you want, you can always go up to an iPhone 11 or iPhone 12 to get those specific, capability. The Pixel 5, on the other hand, I think is the better camera, but it's also more expensive, so you kind of have to keep that in mind. You have more features built into this phone, you have portrait mode, all that crazy stuff, but you also have that ultra-wide sensor, which is really cool. Now, if you're going to use it, if you're not going to use it, it doesn't matter. As long as you have that capability is really nice. You can do 4K at 60 on this as well, just like on the SE2. The front-facing camera is 8 megapixels, 1080p, so pretty much there's a lot of similarities, but the Pixel 5 has that additional ultra-wide sensor, which is something I really do like. So when it comes down to the camera, I'll probably give the edge to the Pixel 5, but the SE2 is also very close. Now ending it off with the battery life, the Pixel 5 has a 4080 mAh battery, the iPhone SE2 has a 1821 mAh battery, so definitely some differences right there. Again, I mean, I will probably say the Pixel 5 will have the better battery life here by a noticeable amount. The iPhone SE2's battery life wasn't really its strong suit. I've talked about it a lot. I've compared it to a lot of other phones. The Pixel 5 will definitely have the better battery life, and you also have wireless charging on both, which is something I have to say. I'd probably say the Pixel 5 has the better battery life for sure. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, which phone should you pick up? Should you pick up the SE2? Should you pick up the Pixel 5? This is basically how I break it down. The iPhone SE2 has a lot of pros. There's a lot of reasons to pick this type of phone up. You have a great build quality at a very decent price tag, $399. That's unheard of in this day and age. You know, we have phones that are $699, like the OnePlus Nord, Galaxy S20 FE, now the Pixel 5, but at $399 and from a huge manufacturer like Apple, that is something that's really, really cool. Samsung's the only one that I can think of that's still doing it like that. But the iPhone SE2 has great software, great performance, a great camera. You know, there's really not that much to hate on. It's a very solid and stable phone all across the board. And I think for $399, it's a very good deal. And price per value dollar standpoint is probably a better deal than the Pixel 5. But I still think the Google Pixel 5 may be a better phone in some areas, and in some areas maybe not. You are going to be getting a longer software support, maybe just a longer lifespan of a phone from an iPhone SE2 than a Pixel 5, but you're still getting great camera. I think a better camera on the Pixel 5 than on the SE2. You're getting great battery life. You're getting better performance, I think, from the Pixel 5 based on the speed test I just did. You're still getting great software. You're getting IP certification 68, just like on the SE2, but this one has 67. You're getting that 90 hertz refresh rate on that display as well, and a really, newer type of build on the, at least on the screen size, not maybe on the other side. But I think I would pick up the Pixel 5 over the SE2, but if I was on a budget, I would rather have the SE2 because it's cheaper. So that's pretty much how I would sum that specific situation up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly, everything else, love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.